Hi, everybody. Welcome to our event. My name is Gabriel Canelas. I'm your host for tonight. I work for Torrens University, responsible for international engagement and virtual events. We are today here to talk about something that is very, very, very important to you all, and I'm sure you're all craving for that kind of information, which is working in Australia. What do we do? What do we have to do? Is it easy to get a job? How does that work? And for this, I brought to you guys two special guests. But let's start with Julie Pope. Julie Pope, can you join us, please? Hi, Julie.
Hi,
How are you?
Gabrielle. Good, good. Hi, how are you? Hi, everyone.
Okay, so Julie Pope is our International Student Wellbeing Coordinator at Torrens University, and she is here tonight, this afternoon, or this morning, depending on where you are, to tell you what you need to know about regulations about working in Australia. How do you get your taxes? How can you actually start working in Australia legally? Isn't it right, Julie?
Exactly. Yes.
There you go. So I'll let you guys with Julie for now, and then I'll see you guys really soon. Julie, welcome on board.
Thanks for that, Gabrielle. I'm just going to share my screen because I do have a PowerPoint presentation today. So welcome. Okay. Can everyone, you can see that? Great. We'll just make it a bit larger. Perfect. So thank you for that introduction. Firstly, I would really like to start with a acknowledgement of country. Torrens University acknowledges that we are meeting on the traditional country of the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains and pay respect to elders past and present. We recognise and respect their cultural heritage, beliefs and relationship with the land. We acknowledge that they are of continuing importance to the Kaurna people living today. And we also extend that respect to other Aboriginal language groups and other First Nations. So just a little bit about myself. Yes, my name's Julie and I am an International Student Wellbeing Coordinator, and I fall within the Wellbeing and Diversity team. My role is really to assist international students with that transition to Australia and university, and to really come up with strategies to make that as smooth and successful as possible. As you can see, we're able to assist students with things like understanding their student visa conditions, overseas healthcare cover inquiries. We assist with them getting started at Torrens as well when new students join, like activating email accounts and subject selection. We also help students in adjusting to life in Australia. Many international students leave their families and friends and come here, so we're able to provide them information about accommodation, transport, airport pickup, all of that information that you would like to probably look at before you book your flights and come to Australia. We also have an amazing program called Mentor Connect, where new international students are invited to join, and you can be mentored by a current student. So that's a student who's in their second year or beyond, and has been in your shoes and experienced that transition themselves. So you will receive an email about that from me probably by the sort of end of this week if you're a new student joining Torrens. And we also do cultural events. So I have one coming up. We are celebrating the traditional Indian celebration of Holi, where we have all the coloured powder, and we invite all the students and staff along and have a great time and have music playing and just really celebrate that cultural event for that cohort of students that come from India at Torrens. So that just gives you a little bit about me and my role and how we assist international students. Today I'm going to be focused on coming to Australia and once you gain employment. So I will talk about student visa work allowances, and there are some future changes about that. So that's quite an important piece of information to give. I'll explain what tax is and what a tax return is. as well as getting ready to work in Australia and your rights and protections, because you're covered just as anyone in Australia would be if you work here, and who to contact if you do require support. I do give out a lot of information in the session, so at the end I will be able to provide a QR code that you'll be able to scan with your phone, and then that will download all different resources and links to different websites to give you further information. Okay, so student visa and work allowances. Currently, due to COVID, there have been some changes in this particular area. So pre-COVID, the student visa allowance around work was that international students could work up to 40 hours a fortnight. So fortnight is meaning within a 2-week period. However, when COVID hit, the Australian government decided that they would remove that restriction. So currently, all international students in Australia are allowed to work within any sector an unlimited amount of work hours. And you're also allowed to start work before your course commences. So as soon as you arrive here, you're able to get a job and start working straight away. But you do have to remember, obviously, that you are still on a visa, so you need to maintain your course enrolment. So enroll into subjects every trimester. You need to be attending your lectures and progressing, so passing your subjects. However, they have announced officially that change, conversion back to the 40 hours a fortnight, will take place from the 30th of June this year. Okay, so if you're not arriving in Australia until then, that's fine. But if you do, you can start working unlimited. But from the 30th of June, there's no exemptions. Every international student will only be allowed to go back to the 40 hours a fortnight. Next topic is tax. What is tax? So I thought the best way to describe this is just to talk about myself. So I work for Torrens University. I get paid monthly. So they pay me a wage monthly for the work that I do. However, before I receive that money, tax is taken out. So the tax amount does vary. So as you can see on the slide, I've put in the scale of how it works. So if you came to Australia and you worked and earned under the 18,200, you don't need to pay tax. We won't need to pay tax. So my son, he's young, he's working part-time, he earns under that threshold, so he doesn't have to pay tax. However, once you go over that threshold, that's when tax will be taken out. So if you're between the 18,000 and 45,000 a year, they'll take out 19 cents to each dollar that you earn once you're over that 18,200. Okay, and then as you earn more, they take out a little bit more. So that scale, it does often change. That's the current one, but it is sort of reviewed yearly and updated. So as an international student, you're able to work in Australia, so you will need to pay tax as well. Now that money, once it's taken out, goes to the Australian government, and it pays for things like healthcare, education, our defence force, upgrading our roads and railways, to help pay pension for our aged care people within Australia, disaster relief. We had some flooding recently in Adelaide where I live, and the government's able to help support the community in that area financially because of taxes we pay. There is more information to give about that, but again, at the end, you'll be able to scan the QR code, and I give you specific links to international student information around tax. Secondly, talk about tax returns. So if you pay tax, you'll need to do a tax return. And this is done every single year. Tax return is basically where you'll show how much you've earned, how much tax you've paid, whether you received any concessions or deductions, and that needs to be lodged your whole year from the 1st of July to the 30th of June. Okay, and you need to get your tax done by the 31st of October. You can do your own tax return yourself online, which is what I do, or you can hire a registered tax agent to complete your tax return and submit that for you, or you still can do a paper version and submit that to the tax department as well. So there's different options there of completing your tax return. But it is, yes, it is a compulsory part of working in Australia. If you pay tax, then you need to do that tax return. Again, I'll provide a very great detailed link to the ATO, the Australian Taxation Office, which will give you much more information around that. The only other thing I will probably mention about tax returns is I love doing my tax return, and a lot of Australians do, because sometimes you get money back. So once everything is worked out, how much you've been taxed, how much you've been paid, you can either get a tax return or you may owe the tax department some money. So once you submit your tax return, they'll review that, and then they will contact you and let you know whether they will be giving you money back because you paid too much tax, or whether you may owe some money. Because of COVID, we're able to claim working from home deductions and things like that. You'll be able to claim yourself depending on what sort of work you do while you're here. There's lots of regulations and rules around that. So I would probably recommend you employ a tax agent initially in your first time if you're doing a tax return, so that they can explain the ins and outs and what needs to be completed, and then the following years you can do your own. So that's the main two things about when you come to Australia and gain employment. But there's also some other little things that I thought I'd like to mention as well today. So if you haven't heard of it, in Australia we have something called a tax file number, and that is your personal reference number. It's free and you can apply for it online. Okay, highly recommend you get a tax file number for when you gain employment, because what you do is you supply that to your employer, and then that helps them work out exactly how much tax you need to pay, so what tax bracket you're in. If you don't supply them with a tax file number, you will be taxed at the maximum rate, and then you'll need to go and do your tax return and claim that back. So highly recommend you do get your tax file number, because it is free and online. And it is also important to ensure that you don't share that tax file number with anyone. That's your own unique personal reference number. So for instance, if you come to Australia and your wife work, for instance, and you only provide the one tax file number, then you're going to be taxed at the joint income, and that will increase your tax, how much you're going to be taxed. So it's definitely only for yourself. Please don't share it with any other friends or family. I like to talk about the pay or wage. We have different names for what we call for the money that we receive for the work that we do. However, in Australia, which I think is amazing, we have what we call a minimum wage. So you must be paid at least a set amount. It's the law. So at the moment, I think for an adult in a full-time role, the minimum wage is $23.10. I think I last saw. So there are set standards around how much you will be paid, but it does vary on age. For instance, if you're doing an apprenticeship, so if you've started doing an apprenticeship, then it's a lower wage. So there are different awards and variants involved with that as well. But if you have any concerns, I can show you in a moment where you can go to check that information out. We also like to talk about a pay slip. So once you get paid, within 1 working day of you receiving that money, you should receive a pay slip from your employer. Because we get paid differently, so Torrens University pays monthly, some businesses will pay weekly or fortnightly. However, no matter when your pay is, within that 1 working day, you should receive your pay slip. And a pay slip will show you all of those things like a tax return. It will show you how much you're actually going to receive in your bank, and then what's been taken out or what's been added on to make that end figure come together. So that will be issued to you on your regular basis, and then all of that will go together for your tax return to work out that eventual big sum of what you've earned for the year minus any taxes or bonuses that you may receive. I would also like to talk about the different types of work. So from the 30th of June, student visa holders will be able to work part-time, or what we call casual basis. So obviously you won't be able to work full-time because that's classified as 38 hours a week. However, part-time would mean there's set hours. So when you talk with your employee, they will say, we are hiring you on a part-time basis, which would normally be set hours. So for instance, they're going to employ you for 20 hours a week. So you know exactly how many hours a week you'll be working. And then on the other end, the casual basis, that means there's no set hours. So one week they may offer you 5 hours. The following week they may offer you 10 hours. There's no set requirement of how many hours they have to provide you. So it is interesting for when you're applying for jobs, you know, if you really want set hours so that you know exactly how many hours and how you can work that out around your study schedule, then look for part-time work. If you're not too concerned how many hours you get, then you can look at the casual opportunities there as well. Okay, and next we're talking about the rights and protections. So all people working in Australia, including international students, have basic rights and protections in the workplace. So you've got the right to work here and you've got the right to be protected by these rights and protections. There is a huge list of them to go through, but I thought I would just discuss a few today. So an example is I work a 7.6-hour day. And my requirement through my employer is that I get set amount of breaks. So I get a 15-minute morning break and a half-an-hour lunch break. So that's breaks. I get to go away, have my food, have my eat, have a break, and then I come back to work. So that can be quite regulated depending on what sort of work you receive. But yeah, after you work a set amount of hours, you are entitled to break time. So you can, once you gain employment, you can have a look into that to ensure that you're getting your correct breaks for the amount of hours that you're working. You may be entitled to more money, so such as we call penalty rates. So if you work on the weekends or you work a public holiday, which is a day when most people have off, but if you work, for instance, in retail here in Australia, they are open on the weekends. Different industries, you may be entitled to what they call penalty rates, which is a higher hourly rate than what the standard hour is. So that's definitely something as well to look into if you gain work in the retail or hospitality, those sort of areas as well. I did like to bring up about something we call pay in cash. So to explain that, when you gain a job, you may have an employer, they may be just a small business that are running, and they may want to pay you in cash. Instead of putting the money into a bank account, they want to give you cash, which is fine. That's not a problem whatsoever. However, you need to ensure that you receive a pay slip and tax is taken out. Okay, so you don't want to work for an employee who is basically doing something illegal by giving you cash and not putting it in the books. So not paying the tax, not paying superannuation, things like this that they have to do as an employee. They may say to you, I'll give you cash and you won't do a tax return, you won't get taxed. However, that's actually not allowed in Australia. So just to make sure, if you do have an employee say to you, oh, I'm going to pay you cash, that they mean they are actually just going to give you cash each week, and not that they're going to do the illegal pay in cash system. Okay, so if you do get a job and something like that happens, or you're not getting given any breaks during your working day, or you feel something's not right and you've reviewed all of the rights that you're entitled to and that's not happening, if you're not feeling comfortable to approach your employer, there is something called the Fair Work Ombudsman. Okay, they're available Australia-wide, and it's a free information service and advice around work-related issues. Okay, so you can see on the screen there, they have a contact number, they have an email address. If you require a translator, that's fine. When you contact them, you can let them know that and they can organise that quite quickly for you. Any hearing or speech assistance there as well, but they would be your first point of contact. So if you have any concerns whatsoever, they will keep it confidential if that's what you would like. If you just want to go to them for advice, that's fine. However, if you feel that you've spoken to your employer and things aren't changing and they're not doing the right thing, then the Fair Work Ombudsman can actually approach your employer for you on your behalf, just to make sure they're doing the right thing, to ensure that they're looking after all their staff. Because if they're doing something wrong by you, they're probably doing it wrong by other staff. And it could be because they just aren't educated, in which the Fair Work Ombudsman will do that for them. Okay, so that's me going through all my different areas. Here is the QR code that I mentioned at the beginning. So if you grab your phones, you should be able to put on your camera and scan this QR code. And then that will download what we call a link tree, which will then have all of the different links and resources available for you to be able to click on, and it will take you through to the correct website. So I've got the international student page, which is mine, which you can look at the Mentor Connect program and anything I mentioned about my role there. Or, and then as you go down, I've got the link for the Australian Taxation Office, for the Fair Work Ombudsman. So you're not needing to go and search for that yourself. You'll be able to get all of that off the link. And it also has my email address, my iswc@torrens.edu.au. That's my direct email address that you can email me at any time if you have any questions after this session, and I will return those emails within a timely manner. Okay, that's me done. Let me stop sharing. So, thank you so much for your time, and I will hand it back over to Gabrielle.
Wow, thank you, Julie, so much. That was very, very informative. Very informative. Make sure you guys have noted all things. And also after this, in a couple of days after the event, we'll send you all an email with the recording of this so that you can rewatch as many times as you wish. Now, next, I'm sure you all have heard from your Torrens rep that we've got a whole team of success coaches to help you achieve all your professional goals while at Torrens University. And for this, we have here Larissa Lopez. Hi, Larissa. How are you?
Hi, Gabrielle. I'm excellent. What about you?
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolute
Larissa's
pleasure.
going to tell you now that you know all the regulations about working in Australia, how about learning how to find a job in Australia, which is also obviously very important. Larissa, on you.
Yes, let's get it started. Just sharing. Okay, everyone. Tips to secure employment in Australia as an international student. I would like to start my presentation by, of course, introducing myself. My name is Larissa de Lopez. I'm one of the business success coaches based here in Adelaide, South Australia. And I've been in this role for nearly 3 years, and I love it. And I'm very proud to say that we have amazing success stories to share every single day. So that's why they are here on my first slide. Actually, throughout the presentation, you will see many success stories of our students who secured amazing jobs and internships. So we've got Manda, who is a lawyer, who secured a very good job as a solicitor here in Adelaide. We've got also Diego, who got a marketing internship. Also Kelly, who got a graduate manufacturing engineer role. And our accounting students who secure some amazing opportunities with EY and PwC. And also, for example, Maria Delgado, who got an amazing assurance analyst role in a very popular bakery here in Adelaide. So let's get started, talk about how to find jobs. So, guys, I'm going to be talking here on this slide about some of the main things that you should do to find a job in Australia. It's kind of an overview about what I'll be talking in depth in the other slides. First of all, research your market. Larissa, what does it mean? Of course, you need to choose a career where you have to use your skills, your talents, things that you are good at, for example. But it's also it's essential for you to also go to the job market in Australia, to the labor market page, and see which roles or which skills are in demand in Australia. Yes, and which ones are not that essential at the moment. The more you read, the more you increase your understanding of where you will fit in the job market in Australia. And that will be very helpful for you to plan for your visa or to also make your career plan in terms of which job you want to secure in the future. So research. And this is a very good page, guys. Labor Market Insights. Just go on Google, Labor Market Insights Australia. Also, sort out your visa. It's very, very common. I cannot emphasize enough, guys. It's very important for you to pay attention on that. When you go to the job ads in Australia, it's very common for you to see full working rights. Normally, it's implicit that they want you to be able to work, yes, without any issues. After COVID, now students, international students, they are able to work full time. But this may change very, very soon. So we have to be aware of that, okay? Sort out all your visa. Perhaps you can think about asking for any sponsor, or you can think about asking for work holidays, for example, so you can work full time. Because normally when you see that on the job ad, it's because the employer wants you to work full time. Okay? Learn about the culture. Very important for you to gain some local experience through volunteering interview, for you to understand the Australian work environment, how Australians work, how is the dynamics here. Trust me, it's very interesting, it's fun, but it's still important for us to learn how it works, yeah? Even like also the language. It's important for you to increase this awareness, this intercultural competency as well, to speak. Tailor your resume to cover letter. Do not use generic resumes. I met a student yesterday. Oh, Larissa, I applied for 10 jobs. He used the same resume, guys. No. You always have to tailor or align your resume and your cover letter to the job ad. If the job ad is saying that they want you to have strong communication skills, strong time management, advanced knowledge using Excel, you have to put those skills on your resume, of course, if you have them. So you want to recruiter to, when they read your resume, to have no doubts that you are the best candidate. Therefore, you have to match the information on the job ad to your resume and cover letter. And as your coach, the success coach here at Torrens can definitely help you with that. Know your technology. There is a word before COVID and after COVID, guys. After COVID, everything is on Zoom, over the phone. So you really need to make sure that your computer skills are up to date as well. Be prepared to take a step back. I met a student normally I always meet students with 30 years of experience, 10 years of experience back home. But local experience here in Australia is very important for you to secure your first employment. So sometimes we need to give a step back and start perhaps doing internship in your field, or volunteering work, or even a work a little bit different from what you used to do, to get this local experience or to get your foot in the door. I'll be talking more about it later. Understand how to apply, yes, analyze and learn the main job search page here in Australia, some network events, very important for you to attend. LinkedIn, please, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you to use this platform, LinkedIn. Employers and job seekers in Australia, they use it every day, all the time. And it's also a platform where social platform where you can also apply for jobs. And recruiters are there on the hunt looking for candidates. As your coach here at Torrens University, we can also help you to have a good LinkedIn profile, so you can be approached perhaps by a potential, an important connection or recruiter. Find a coach or a mentor. We are here to fully support you. Your achievements are our achievements, and we want the best for you, and we want you to fulfill your biggest dreams and all your career goals. So trust on us that we are here and we have knowledge about it, and we are ready to help you. So, but Larissa, what are employers looking for? We have different skills, as you may be aware. We've got employability skills, behavioral skills, transferable skills. We've got soft skills. Yes, normally we call them soft skills. It's the way you work. It's the way that you behave in a work environment. For example, communication skills is a soft skill. Interpersonal skill, public speaking, leadership, conflict management, ability to overcome problems and to work, to work good as part of a team and to keep good relationships. Very important. It's part of emotional intelligence. And this is essential, very valuable in Australia. Decision making, good time management, stress management, which also is related to emotional intelligence. Those soft skills are very valuable in Australia. I know it sounds cliche, but in many cases here, they hire for attitude, they hire for soft skills rather than for technical skills or experience. It can happen. Communication skills is one of the most important skills that you can have as an international student. So make sure that even when you arrive here, that you polish, that you keep practicing, and that you keep improving your communication skills, okay? Your assertiveness, your negotiation skills, conflict resolution, intercultural communication, presentation skills. While you are studying at the university, you have the opportunity to develop. You can also join our student representative council group here at Torrens University, so you can make connection and start practicing your communication skills. It has something that you have to regularly do. And also when you seek an internship or a job, even if it's not related to your field, it's a good thing because you'll be improving your communication, your verbal communication skills. Technical skills related to computers, guys, software, very important, especially if you are studying a Bachelor of Business Information Systems, Cybersecurity, Masters of Business Information Systems as well. On your resume, you need to actually separate your soft skills from your technical skills. Technical skills refer to, for example, big data analysis, project management, coding, programming, social media experience, technical writing, Microsoft Office 365, some very important software programs here that are highly used in Australia, especially if you're an aspiring business analyst, data analyst. For example, Power BI, SQL, Tableau. Please, technical skills is something that you also have to develop. Larissa, how do we get local experience without landing a job? I've just arrived in Australia, Larissa. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. What I would recommend you to do first is contact your success coach, 100%. Secondly, have a very good resume and cover letter. Of course, before you apply for jobs or internships, you always have to tailor. You can create a generic one in the beginning, but then before you apply, you always have to adjust to match the skills and the requirements from the job ad. And then you start applying for internships. Normally, internships are not paid, but there are so many benefits, which is for you to increase your networking, apply theory into practice, and get your foot in the door. And I cannot even tell you how many success stories of students we have who started as interns and now they are employed in the same organization. Volunteering job is also very important for networking, for you also to get your foot in the door, for you to get more practical knowledge as well. And also it will give you an idea and a full understanding about Australian work culture. Normally they are non-paid, but it's a good investment because local experience is essential. for many roles here. Even if you have 10 years of experience back home, 30 years of experience in your field, but if you want to increase your chance of finding employment, you will still need, remember, to give a step back, do an internship, volunteering work, customer services job for you to give a step ahead. We also have, for example, ways to help you for you to secure internships. And I'll be talking to you very soon about it. Prepare for employment. You cannot predict your future, but you can plan for your success and put yourself on a path toward fulfilling your dreams. So we cannot predict when you are going to get a job, but there are some steps and work that you have to do now in order to achieve what you want to achieve, which is a solid and a fulfilling career in your field. And we are here to guide you and to be with you on this journey. First of all, Larissa, I'm not sure about my skills. I'm not sure about my goals. So I highly recommend you again to contact your success coach. 2, attend our employability workshops, especially the ones related to career planning, and make a self-evaluation as well about your skills, about your talents, about things that you like to do, about things that you are passionate about. Yes, because you can only be successful, guys. You can only be happy and you can only excel and do a good job if you use your skills, if you do something that you are good at. Otherwise, it will be very, very difficult, okay? Make this self-evaluation. And we have many tools online and tools that we know that we can send to you where you can make this evaluation, find out more about your skills. You can talk to friends as well, people who have worked with you if you are not very aware about them. So all those things combined will help you to identify your goals and make a very good plan. For example, you can also reflect, what am I good at? What do I dislike doing? What interests me? What issues are important to me? What is my dream job? What is my dream workplace and why? For example, I'm not very good with Excel spreadsheets. Computer is not my thing. Do you think that I would be happy working as a business analyst? Do you think that I would be happy working as an IT supporter? No. So I need to be realistic as well. So if I like talk, if I like helping people, if I like career development, if I like engaging with others, so that helped me to choose the career as a coach. So we can help you to identify that as well. As I said before, you need to keep improve your communication skills, even if your partner speaks the same language as you or friends, but make sure that you make an effort for you to speak in English. Take short courses and workshops. Here in Adelaide, for example, we've got some churches and some institutions who offer free English classes. This is very important for employment, any employment, not just employment in your field. You need to be able to speak well, yes, to speak clearly, to make yourself well understood. Listen to the radio, listen to movies in English, engage with us on campus. You are always welcome now to come on campus and to interact with us. See us as assets as well, people who can help you to achieve your dreams. For example, join the Student Representative Council group here. So they are from all over the world. You can keep practicing your communications and interpersonal skills as well while you interact with them. It's practice. Communication is practice. Practice every day. Internship and volunteer work also will allow you to improve your verbal communication skills. So you have to be proactive as well. Yeah, look for your success coach, sit down, make a career plan, start searching on Google for some good job search pages, go to the labor market website to see the careers and skills in demand. Have a look there on this page about updates in your career as well. Labor Market Australia, Insights Australia. So we've got here, as you're fully aware, we've got different types of work. So we've got the part-time and casual work, normally 20 hours a week, 40 hours per fortnight. So international students, they are, of course, able to commit to this type of work. And as I said before, you can develop amazing skills. You can understand about Australian work culture, and you can really get job ready and develop many important skills, even if you work in hospitality, customer service. If it's an area that it's not related to your field, it's still good, because many of the skills that you are developing, that you are enhancing, they can be transferable to any industry. For example, if you are looking for a job as an accountant and you work in a retail shop, clothing or selling clothes, for example, you'll be developing communication skills in this clothing store, which is important for you as an accountant. You'll be developing time management skill, which is also very, very valuable for you as an accountant. Customer services, problem solving, analytical skills, attention to details. So all those skills are transferable to any industry. So when you arrive in Australia, if you are already here, you don't need to secure a job straight away in your field, okay? So you can also evaluate other options, because you won't be wasting your time. You develop many transferable skills that you can use in your career in the future here. We call them transferable skills. Volunteering, my mother normally tells me that the more you give, the more you get. And that's so true. There is nothing more fulfilling than help the community. And when you help the community, you feel good about yourself. And when you put that on your resume, it shows a lot of who you are as a person. And employers here in Australia, they love to see that. It shows also your eagerness to make connections with people. Network is very important. You never know. That person that you met in that volunteer job can help you to land a job in Australia. You can also learn from other people. You can get your questions answered as well with those connections. We learn from each other. It's very hard for us to learn just by ourselves. Networking is key. And also, of course, will help you with your English. 100%, especially if you do a volunteer work with people from other countries. So, for example, talk about volunteer work. In July and August, we are going to have this amazing volunteering opportunity with FIFA Women's World Cup. So if you are interested, especially if you are in sportsmen, or even if you are in an unrelated area, please contact your coach and we can help you with your resume cover letter for you to apply for it. FIFA Women's World Cup. Here at Torrens University, we have a platform called Careers Connect. Careers Connect is a career services platform in which we have more than 5,000 partners or employers who want Torrens University students to work in their organizations. So we've got internships, graduate opportunities, volunteer work, but mainly internship opportunities, because the main goal is for you to learn, to get local experience. So please visit our Careers Connect platform if you are new students. I'm pretty sure that you'll be receiving a notification very soon with the link and instructions about how to join, how to log in. This is our Careers Connect. So over there, you can see amazing resources, employability resources. You can also know about some events, industry events that will be holding on campus. For example, this year, here in Adelaide, we'll be receiving PwC, we'll be receiving SEEK, which is one of the biggest and most popular job search pages and company in Australia. So in those events, once again, connections, networking, and you can also ask questions about that particular company, which will help with your application and which will help you as well to evaluate if that's the organization that you want to work for. We can also help you with mock interviews, for example, on this platform. We also have in Australia paid internships. Normally on Careers Connect, the internships are unpaid, but they are a big investment and the advantages and benefits are endless. Normally those paid internships are out of Careers Connect, and the majority requires students to be permanent residents, okay? You still find some opportunities where international students can apply, but normally they need to be citizens or permanent residents. Here are some opportunities that our students took. They all applied for opportunities, internship opportunities on Careers Connect. And now, very proud of them, and I'm very proud as well to say that now they are working those organizations as employees. They start as interns, they got their foot in the door, non-paid internships, they show their skills, they show their eagerness to learn, their talents, their energy and attitude, and now they are working in those organizations. Although it's not guaranteed, but it's totally possible, totally possible. So job search in Australia, you need to be consistent, you need to persist, you have to have a lot of discipline as well. So we've got graduate roles, we've got winter internships, usually open late February and close towards the end of April, so keep an eye. As I said, the university, we normally host some events here, industry events. Last year, we held a big Industry Connect event where we had the biggest employers that you can imagine attending our campus and connecting with our students. So keep an eye on your emails and also around the campus to get some more information about that. Careers Fair, please do attend. Normally, summer internships are usually open in July and August for big organizations such as PwC, EY, and Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. And also, LinkedIn. Please use LinkedIn, the best career development and social professional networking platform. Please use it. I cannot even tell you how many opportunities our students secured because they had a nice profile and they were connected by employers and recruiters on LinkedIn offering them a job. And as a Torrens University student, you can take some short courses on LinkedIn for free. For free. So, for example, last week we attended the Engineers Australia networking event. So the students and I, we made very important connections, and we also met the career manager from Young Engineers Australia. So in your job search journey, please identify the best job search engines or pages for you to look for jobs. I really like the Grad Connection. They have more graduate opportunities and internships. Of course, top one is Careers Connect, which is our career services platform. We have Seek, a really good one in Australia, #1 employment marketplace. We have Career One, Indeed, and also, of course, LinkedIn. Apply for jobs. Consistency, you have to persist. You have to have a lot of discipline. We have a template where you can track the jobs that you applied for, the outcomes, and it's a matter of being persistent, really, because I haven't met any student who haven't tried hard, who hasn't gotten the opportunity. They all get it if they persist and if they meet their coaches, if they do the networking, use LinkedIn, have a good resume and cover letter, they always get, trust me, and you will, and you will. So as I said before, very important to tailor your resume and cover letter to the job ad. For example, on your cover letter, you need to write a paragraph stating why you want to work in that particular organization. When I applied for a job here at Torrens University, I had to read about the company's mission and values and how those values align with mine. For example, here, we start and end with people. That's my mission in life, is to help people to fulfill their dreams. I'm all about people. So those things were aligned. And I said, that's a good place for me to work. And I had to state that on the cover letter. You have to write this on your expression of interest, okay? Paragraph about the organization, among other things, and what you can offer as well, based on what they want, based on what they need. Job interview tips. Research about the company before you go for a job interview. Please do. Research about the interviewer. Go on LinkedIn, check his profile, 100%. Connect with the interviewer, eye contact. A good interview doesn't feel like an interview in Australia. It feels like a conversation between friends. Tell your story. It's not about giving the right answer. It's about telling your story with passion, with emotions, with feelings. Using the STAR model, the STAR, to talk about your achievements, situation, task, action, and results. As I said, research about the company. Think about, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Think about past, present, and future. How did I start my career? What I'm doing at the moment, what I'm looking for, and what's my career goal? Yes, so you can always book an appointment with your coach and attend our employability workshops to get the best tips and tricks for you to succeed on a job interview here in Australia. And here are more success stories. We have success stories and amazing employment outcomes every single day. We love what we do. We love what you do. We are a team here. Be proactive, seek assistance that we
Hello and welcome to the last but most important session of the Torrens University World Fair, hearing from our alumni. My name is Rebecca Bendel and I am the Director of International Business Development at Torrens University, Think Education and Media Design School. And it's my absolute pleasure to bring to you three incredible alumnus. So let me introduce the panel. Shrey, he is the ICT Account Manager at Telstra, which is Australia's leading telecommunications and technology company. Shrey completed his Masters of Business Information Systems at Torrens University last year. Wave, Shrey, so people know who you are. There you go. Shani also completed her studies in 2022. She is a Bachelor of Commerce, Accounting and Finance, graduate and employed in her field of studies at Carlo Cantini Chartered Accountants in Adelaide. And lastly, but not least, Vaish is joining us today from Melbourne, but has also lived in Tasmania, as well as Sydney, where she completed her Bachelor of Business, International Hotel and Resort Management in 2018. Vaish has had a very successful career since graduating and is now working at the prestigious Sofitel on Collins as a guest experience manager. I had the pleasure of meeting with the panel before today, and one thing that actually really stood out to me is how quickly you all found jobs in your field of study. So congratulations to all three of you. Chandy, I'm going to throw to you first. Can you tell me how you secured your role at Carlo Cantini, and what advice would you give to current students to have the same success as you?
Hi, thank you, Rebecca, for giving me the floor. I would suggest to get in touch with the Careers Connect and your Success Coach as soon as possible. Torrens offers really good opportunity that I think it's one of the things that stands out about Torrens, because Success Coach will not only help you look for the jobs, but also guide you in resume writing and cover letter writing, which is very, very important when you're first applying for a job. Because when you come for a new country, you don't really have the local experience, but you don't even know how you have to prepare your resume. So this is where the Success Coach and Careers Connect will help you. Moreover, Torrens organizes a lot of networking events where you get to meet a lot of companies around Australia that come and gives you more details about the jobs they are offering and the roles they are offering, which you can start preparing from the earlier on. So when you graduate, you have enough knowledge on where you want to go and how you can apply. And as far as challenges are concerned, I joined Torrens when it started online. So the first thing was adjusting to the whole online her whole online platform to study. But Torrens also gave a lot of tutorials on the Blackboard that actually guided me step by step on how to use and get familiar with the Blackboard. So once you join Torrens and one of your subject is online, it's really great to go through those tutorials, which will help you to work your way around the Blackboard. Also, there are a lot of podcasts that is being offered by one of the success coach, Larissa, that helps us understand the local culture and a lot of opportunities. And she talks about very various topics. I can't give a lot of details, but it's really good to attend. And I think when I was there, she used to hold podcast every once fortnight. So it's a 1 hour podcast and it's really helpful.
Yeah,
and
I think it's a great point that you made there with the podcast. I think what I might do is I'll try and get the link to Larissa's podcast, and I can share it with everyone that's watching, because I think it's worthwhile. Even if you're not studying at Torrens University, the advice that she gives is absolutely excellent. So good tip there, Chandni. I'll make sure I get that link out for everyone.
Yeah, thank you. And one last thing, I know that when I was an international student. I have studied in English, but I still had difficulty understanding the accent, because when you come here, it's different from what you've done. I had huge difficulties. So what I did is I started listening to podcasts and documentaries in different accents, and also to have a little bit fun, not just all knowledge. You can also watch Netflix in many different accents. That will help you understand your day-to-day lectures in the university. Yeah, that is all from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. Have you found the Australian accent, is it different to in various, like if people are from different areas within Australia? Have you noticed that?
Yes, and I still find it difficult to understand some of the accents.
Well, hopefully I'm nice and clear for you, but I totally get it.
Yeah.
I have some friends that live in regional Australia, and they have very thick Australian accents and are very difficult to understand. Ray, I might throw it to you now. Now, can you tell me a bit about why you studied MBIS at Torrens University in Adelaide specifically? And, we've already talked about Larissa as a success coach, but your success coach was Vaughan. So can you tell me a bit about how he supported you to where you are today?
So first of all, let me start just like Chandni, I started my studies back from India in 2020 when COVID was happening, and most of my education was done online. But I never complained about it. Like, it's just learning. If you want to be a part of the society, part of the uni, so it's just a different experience. You just have to put yourself across, even in online classes. That's how you will always stand out, and your teachers should know your name, right? For me, that was always one thing that I always focused on, so that whenever I'm unsure, like, I can just go up to them and I can just meet them face to face. And surprisingly, everyone knew my name. Like, okay, yeah, he's the person who was there, who's always responsive on chats and submitting assignments and everything. It was definitely a different kind of experience. And since I started my master's, I spoke to Vaughn when I was in India. So I started talking to him about how I can progress my career, and that's when he suggested me how to write an Australian resume, because I shared my resume from India, which was absolutely different from what they need in Australia. Because as we discussed before as well, basically the Australian resume focuses more on skills rather than your background education. So the number of skills that you have, you need to highlight those, and there are technical skills as well as soft skills. So soft skills is something that is really, really important in Australian culture, because we are international students, and that is something that makes us stand at the edge with other competition.
Yep.
Apart from that, like when I came on shore in last year, I went to Vaughn again, and because I was looking for jobs, and that's when he recommended me, sorry, Grad Connect and Careers Connect, Grad Connection. There are so many portals, and I think the best way to stand out in Australia is to go on LinkedIn and start networking with as many people as you can, and that's actually helped me a lot. And Torrens actually offered me an internship with Practera. I met so many people in Practera. Like, I led that because I was probably the oldest and the most experienced one out of that. So I led that, and we pitched a project to a startup. And as soon as I came on shore, I networked with that person for whom we were doing. She's a business owner in Queensland. So I networked with her. I wrote on LinkedIn to her, like, if you have any job opportunities, and just let me know.
Great.
So you just need to be confident. I think most international students, they think that language is their barrier, and they don't feel confident in pitching out to maybe people from different areas like Australian. And like Charni just mentioned, yes, it is definitely difficult to understand the Aussie accent, but then as soon as you go out and meet new people, you start working with that, you get used to it. I mean, I've literally got used to it in my job, because I meet a lot of Australians from regional, because I deal with business owners. So I have, like, it's not only Aussies, like all kinds of business owners. So I think Vaughn really helped me throughout my journey with Torrens, and I still do. When the day I got my job, I went to Torrens and I met Vaughn and I told him. So I think just the best thing is be confident and just be smart about it. Network with as many people as you can, and definitely you'll get a job in your own field if you are capable enough and you have that, greed of getting a job.
Yeah, for sure. And look, I think Australia is an extremely multicultural country too. A lot of people come from countries where it mightn't be so diverse, and it's quite surprising how many ex-international students you would meet in your career who have now maybe have migrated to Australia, or have now got themselves a full-time job working in other roles or owning their own business. And you can really relate to them. So having your international student background is such a benefit in such a multicultural society. So that's great. Now, you kind of skipped over answering my first question, but why did you choose MBIS in Adelaide?
Yeah, I was just getting to it. So basically, like, being an Indian student, I mean, I know this question, everyone has the same question that I had. First of all, securing your permanent residency, how you can plan your permanent residency. And Adelaide was, when I joined, Adelaide came out to be in a semi-regional place, and which used to give 5 extra points for PR purposes, which is one of the best things. And for me, like, I wanted to do a course which is more of the IT side, but then also a business side of it, because I knew I was prepared that I'm not good with coding. So I chose this business information systems, and I had options between Perth and Adelaide because only 2 of the unis were offering the same course. So I definitely went with the Torrens, because it was like budget friendly, ranking number 4.
Yep.
Because see, best thing is choose a university than a college. I would recommend to all the students who are joining, and focus on your course. Yep. Don't go for what agents would suggest you. Do your own research. That is the best. And I'm sure Torrens is one of the best ones right now in the market in Adelaide for international students, because they have like the most important selling feature is flexible learning.
Yes. Yeah.
Like people can literally work throughout your day and you can take evening classes.
Yes.
Which is like,
Yeah.
I used to work in the morning 9 to 5, and I used to take my class from 6:30 to 9:30. And it was so convenient for me. And Adelaide as a city, it's a small city. I chose Adelaide because I wanted to go to a smaller city rather than a big metropolitan city. And since the time I've been here, borders have opened. Adelaide has got plenty of opportunities.
Well, you've hit a soft spot for me, because I'm originally from Sydney and now live in South Australia and live in Adelaide, and I am a convert, and I'm sorry to Vaish, who now does live in Melbourne. But look, you know, it is great. It's a really well connected city, and it provides a lot of opportunities, especially to graduates who are looking for their first step into their career post graduating. So. Big shout out to all the South Australian future students that are listening today. Vaish, we'll go to you now. You've been our alumni for the longest out of everyone here, and you have been successfully employed in the hotel industry. I think it's for 5 years now.
Correct. Yeah, touching 6. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Amazing. So if you reflect back on your time at the Blue Mountains International Hotel Management School, what are some of the most valuable skills that you gained, and how have you used them in your career?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that question, Rebecca. I was an alumni pre-pandemic, so I was at university interacting with teachers and my other fellow classmates. Was not stuck in the virtual world. So one of the most fantastic aspects of obviously the Blue Mountains Hotel School was the ability to be in that multicultural environment. Like, you touch base, and so did Shrey and Chandni, is having that interaction with people from all walks of life, from all over the globe, and being surrounded with that multicultural environment is key. Over my 3 years of my education at the Blue Mountains Hotel School, I have friends, colleagues from all over the world. So some of the key, I think, skills that I learned and that I have implemented in my career, the first one being, I think, cultural awareness is very, very important. And Blue Mountains was a key driving force into that one. And being in the hotel industry, not just customers, but from your colleagues to your shareholders to obviously customers, you meet millions of people in a year, I would say, or even interact over the phone or meet face to face, different personalities, different beliefs, different backgrounds. And having that ability to empathize, a very, very important skill, is something that I learned at the Blue Mountains Hotel School. Shrey mentioned the importance of soft skills in the industry, no matter what career or background that you've chosen. But having that cultural awareness and using skill of empathizing with people is very, very important in my job. Obviously, not just with colleagues, but with guests. It helps me connect on a more personal level, I feel. And that's a very important skill that I learned. The second one is obviously time management and multitasking, balancing your assignments, group projects, if you're working part-time as well, to support yourself.
Vaish, I think you push a sore point there. Group projects. I know a lot of people kind of get a little shiver down the back of their spine when somebody says a group project. How did you find it? Like, what were the benefits of a group project for you?
Collaborating is a very important skill. Like, you bounce off ideas. Again, people from multiple backgrounds, coming from different walks of life. I had friends and classmates who are doing their bachelor's degree for the third time. They've done IT, they've done science, they're now doing a management stream for their bachelor's degree. So age, background, doesn't matter. You learn of each other, you bounce off ideas of each other. So having that collaborative environment, I think, is very, very important. And I love teamwork and I love group projects, because in this industry, you have to work with people all day, every day, regardless.
And it's really hard to find a career that you don't. Like, I think about my job, and there is not one day that I do not speak to another person or have to work on a piece of work. So, all those group assignments, people got to get on board.
Got to get on board. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And that's your way of networking as well, because you can always rely back on these people in the future. And that's the connections that you build at your time at the university. And I was in Blue Mountains, in 3 hours from Sydney. It's a very isolated, small community. And obviously these friends are my closest people that I interacted with. So multicultural environment and learning time management and multitasking skill, very, very key in my professional career as well, and my personal growth.
Wonderful. Thanks, Vaish. Shrey, did you want to add something there? So you take yourself off mute.
Yeah. So basically what Vaish said, absolutely spot on. I mean, there's nothing that I can, counter on that. But group projects in a master's level, exceptionally good. Best thing is no, trust me, it's like you are meeting, like you are randomly allotted to a group of people. So it removes your inhibitions that you have to work with people and people who you don't know or you've never worked with. Some people, they don't want to work. They just want to, get passing marks. And some people you will meet who are exceptionally well, and they'll push across your ideas, and they will all do brainstorming. So I think that stage, because I was doing project management as well, so that stage of all brainstorming and having sessions, weekly sessions, you decide. We used to manage the Scrum boards and everything in Agile project management. I think that was one of the best experience you can have, because it was just a simulator kind of thing for your actual work experience.
Yeah.
You don't realize, but you're actually learning so many skills.
Absolutely.
As Vash said, teamwork, time management, you have to submit your assignment on time, and you have to manage that everyone submits their own parts at the same time, and one person has to compile everything, then the referencing. So it's just an experience in itself. Definitely,
and those
definitely
key skills
a good thing.
Is important in your on the job as well, because you're not only managing your subordinates, you're also being managed by your superior, and having that knack to be able to balance it out. Yeah, very important skill.
Yeah. You've sort of touched on a bit around, we've talked a bit about how that creates, those group work create your networks and establishing connections. And, my question around, what advice would you give to students about growing those networks? Shrey, I'll start with you, but I might get you all to sort of provide some input. We've talked a little bit about, LinkedIn and connecting people there, but what other things has Torrens facilitated in, or you've found on your own, to help grow your network, to get those relationships going?
I think the best thing that I did was I started associating with people from the Student Council, the SRC. They have huge, big group, everyone from different field. Just spend a couple of hours with them in the evening after uni or anything. Just start a conversation with them, ask about their life, where they're from, what they're doing. And that's how you start networking. The first thing is you have to remove your inhibitions about your language. The key thing is you have to be able to put yourself across, be it any language, if you're fluent in English or not. Because see, I met a lot of South American people. They were not really fluent with English at the first time. But till date, I have the maximum South American friends. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I have networked with them, and then, you just start referring them to different places. Oh, right. I need a job. So that's how you network. And you don't know, but you meet a lot of people. I spoke to a lot of my facilitators as well, who were working in professional companies. So I think that's how I grew. And Grad Connect, as I mentioned before, Grad Connect is definitely a very good tool. And for the students,
do you want to just explain what Grad Connect is?
Grad Connect is basically you just put your resume out there and you see all kinds of job opportunities on that. And it's basically for the students who are graduating from the bachelor's or the master's degree, and all people who are looking to join Big Four. They have the PwC, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, and Accenture, they all advertise their graduate programs over there. And as Chandni mentioned earlier, Torrens has networking events. Please, I know you have to leave your couple of hours of work to attend those events, but they are definitely worth it. And I actually would like to share an experience with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Like when I applied, because of my visa conditions, I got rejection. But nevertheless, that experience of giving the interview, and I followed up with the guy who was actually on the campus, that I had applied and I got this reason. So is there any opportunity? Like, don't feel embarrassed that you got rejected. Just go again.
Yeah.
Because it's just life, that maybe that time you were not eligible for it. Maybe next time you are.
Yep.
It's also
Yep.
practicing and preparing you for your next role. You're more confident in what questions they're going to ask, for example, or your next role, what in terms of what job roles or what requirements it is. You can understand where you need to improve, things like that.
Yep.
as well. Yeah.
And that is
Exactly.
very true,
Like
Vaish.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think
making sure you
hiring
ask for
team-
feedback.
Exactly. Feedback is definitely
Correct.
one of the best things that you can have, and constructive criticism. Don't just, constructive criticism is something that you can actually get from a success coach as well, like where you are
Mhm.
lacking. Vaughn actually helped me with that. Like, just, I think you're focusing only on one particular field, just widen your horizon and you will definitely get something worth it.
Vaish or Shandy, did you have anything to add about growing your professional networks?
I attended this thing that I think it's organized everywhere in Australia. It's called the Big Meet, where you get all sorts of industry partners, small to medium to big tier firms. And I actually attended there as like a Torrens representative, because as Shrey mentioned, student council, I was part of the student council. So I can say from the experience that in that event, I got to meet people from the Big Four and also a lot of more companies that I was not aware that I could do accounting in this field. Like I had not thought about it, but then that opportunity, that event when I attended, I got a lot of connections that day. That one of them, actually, I will also share one experience. There was one recruiter from BDO, which is also, it's not top 4, but it comes in top 10 accounting finance industry in Adelaide. The recruiter asked me to submit my resume because I was helping students as a student council member, helping students to introduce themselves, and she saw the skills I had. So as Shrey said, don't be shy of showing. If you can't talk properly, it's okay. It's not about how efficiently you talk. It's about what you're trying to convey the message, because everyone understands that we all have language barrier, and it's becoming more easy with the growing of awareness of everything around the world. As you can see, I also stammer a lot of sometimes. So and I'm still sitting here as an alumni giving presentation. Maybe one day one of you will be sitting here talking the way Shrey or Vaish are talking. So don't be shy. If you get an opportunity, and go for it, at least try. What's the worst that can happen? You will fail, right? There's nothing you're going to lose. And even if you fail, there's still something you're learning.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that
Great
is true.
recommendation.
Yeah.
And look,
For the
I'm always in
hotel-
awe. I'm always amazed at international students or anyone in even the team that I work with at Torrens, that English is their second language, but they can still communicate in a business sense or in a general sense in a second language. And I just think that is absolutely admirable. And I can't myself. I speak Australian and English, and that's as far as I can go. But what you guys do to learn in another language is absolutely tremendous. So
that's true. I'm just going to add something more over there, because all of us, we think, oh my God, look at them, they speak so nice English, blah, 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 all that, right? But you have to think about it. They can only speak English you as you where you come from, you can speak your language and you can speak English. So that if you're looking in that terms, you're still better than, I mean, you're equal, not better, you're equal as they are, because they can communicate efficiently in their language. So can you. If they have to learn your language, it will take them the same time as long as you are taking. So yeah, it's how it's the way of life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And being multilingual is actually a bonus in the hospitality industry. And given Australia, as Rebecca mentioned, is such a multicultural country, from all over the world, people come here for work, for travel. And in the hotel industry, you meet guests and colleagues from different countries. So having the multilingual skill, you're able to again connect more and more personal level as well. And Shrey touched base, both Shrey and Chandni touched base on obviously networking, very, very important. Now, I go into any hotel in Tasmania or in Sydney or Queensland, and I meet a fellow Blue Mountains alumni. When I tell them, no, I graduated from the Blue Mountains Hotel School from Torrens University, and they said, oh, we love Blue Mountain students. We've had students on placements over here. Or our general manager is an alumni from Blue Mountains. So our sales and marketing director is an alumni of Blue Mountains. We have a few Blue Mountains interns coming next week. We love them. So the networking is extremely crucial. And Torrens University has that reputation in this country. And people know it's only the good things. And highly recommend for anyone who's watching that choose us, because it's very, very good.
Yeah, I would definitely give a thumbs up for that. And I would also recommend people like just go for it. It's going to be an amazing experience. The flexible learning really helps students like us who have to manage work and everything. But it's definitely a go ahead from my side.
Correct. Yeah.
Plus, it's a good start in Adelaide, because the weather, the day-to-day living, which is affordable if you're starting, and it's I will say it's and also the Torrens also offers very reasonable and affordable tuition fees, which is a plus point as well, why you should choose Torrens. Because I've had so many people asking me that why I chose Torrens, because mostly people, all I heard about in my country was UniSA and Uni Adelaide, right? But then when I learned about Torrens, I was like, oh my God, I was not aware of it. So right now, Torrens is at the peak level. There is a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of services that are free of charge that are being offered. Some of these services we are not even aware of. So when you enter Adelaide, when you come to Adelaide, I will suggest go to the student staff, the reception area, and they will literally guide you step by step with all the services they offer. Rather than just giving a brochure, they will help you how to work your way through Careers Connect, what is Success Coach. If you ask them, they are very friendly. They'll tell you what about the events that are coming. There's also students council members that are always active in the reception area that you can easily approach, because they're students like us, like you and me, or like we used to be. So it's going to be very, really convenient and very nice opportunity for you to place yourself out there. Because one day we organized an event by Torrens as a SRC, and I met a student that said they just arrived here yesterday. So they had no clue of how to get around city, what is Metro card, how to get around bus, train. They had no idea. And some of these people, when they come, some of them might not even have friends, right? So we actually had like everything in a line, written in a piece of paper, like when they asked what to. So we have a brochure that says how to get around yourself in city. Torrens has this brochure that offers, it gives you the information about the Metro card, the places you can visit that are for free, the places you can shop for, like groceries. Those are basic things that no one talks about, but those are also important. So I think getting yourself in touch with the student, with the staff, will help you settle down at the start of when you first arrive in Australia.
That's terrific, Chandni. And I just want to remind everyone that's watching, although Adelaide is amazing, Torrens does also offer courses in Brisbane, the Gold Coast, Sydney, and Melbourne. So just a reminder. But even though Chandni and Shrey are both both keen advocates.
Because that's where we
we
actually graduated from, probably. That's why we're talking a lot about that. But yes, I've heard the campus in Sydney is amazing. It's a piece of art. I've been wanting to see that.
The campus in Sydney is at the Rocks near
Yes.
Circular Quay, and it's prime location, and it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
And we've just opened a fabulous new campus in Sydney in Surrey Hills. So that one's just opened up. So that's a nice one to have a look at too. I am conscious that we're running out of time. So I'm just going to do a quick whip around. Maybe just one bit of advice in finding your career. I know we've probably talked a little bit about, what has helped you to find your career, but what is one thing that you wish you knew before starting your new career at your current employer? Shrey, let's start with you.
I think, as I mentioned before, soft skills, and there are a few free courses offered by Torrens or Careers Connect. I did all 6 of them, all 6 certifications.
Yeah. Live stream.
And yes, so they are like the smart skill badges, and I think, I don't know, but I think I shined out with the other resumes because of those 6 skills that I gained. So they were a bunch of digital marketing, advertising, leadership skills, so some basic soft and smart skills. And I think that is something, like, what I'm trying to say is just to make an extra effort to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Shrey. Shandy?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, and in my career I'm working as an accountant right now, so I was not aware about the like technical skills, like learning softwares. For example, we use Xero, Mayub, Reckon. There are lots of other softwares that we use, and Torrens offers these LinkedIn free courses that are available on their Blackboard, which I will suggest. I wish I knew it earlier because I did not pay so much attention to it. So I regretted it. And then once I got to know about it, I started doing few of those certificates, and it really helped me settle down in my new role.
Great, thank you. And Vaish?
I missed your question, Rebecca, sorry.
That's okay. What would be one tip that you would give to those listening in about finding your job that helped you get to your first career?
Absolutely. I think mentoring is very, very big. Like the Chandni and Shrey touch base on obviously networking, but having good mentors in your university, also in the job that you're in, putting yourself out there, because they are your guiding force, basically. You can gain experience by learning it the hard way, but there is no shame in leveraging from the wisdom of other people. So learning from colleagues in your work, mentoring programs that university offers, seniors from your school as well, because they've been out there in the industry, they've worked, they have the real life experience, and they're able to guide you. So that's very, very key for progressing in your professional as well as personal development as well.
Terrific. Well, with that, thank you for your time, your advice, your absolute passion, and congratulations all 3 of you for the successes that you have. So thank you, Shrey, Shandy, and Vaish. Great to speak to you today.
Rebecca. Thank you.
Thanks, Beck.
Bye.